Meeting to order. Christina, could we get roll call, please?
President Osborne,
Here.
Secretary Cordova,
Here.
Member Hamilton,
Here.
Member Martin,
Here.
Member Egbert.
Okay, we have a quorum. Would you all please stand and join us for the pledge and salute with Mr. Hamilton?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, this gives symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you. The next item we have is to consider approval of the minutes from the November 19th meeting.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Cordova and a second by Mr. Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item is consider approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
A motion by Mr. Hamilton and a second by Mr. Martin. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the agenda has been approved. I think we're ready now, Ms. Rusfer.
Yes, for our chamber choir. We'll just let them perform and then we'll visit with Director Martin a little further down.
Hi, this is the chamber choir from the high school. I'm Tammy Martin, and this is our top group. So we are proud to present two of our Christmas songs that we just recently did in our concert. So.
Well, we have a lot to give you for this year that we've done, and I just want to quickly run through that and get off the podium, let the rest of it go. To start off, we have, I've been in my second year. We have a little bit more in our choir this year, so it's really nice to say that we're actually increasing. But we are really being proactive within our middle schools this year, and we're really trying to build that up, and we have started growing in numbers. We have probably put in at Gaddis over 30 something more just since school started. And then the last week, we have had a recruitment of about 40 in the last 4 days at Yucca. And so it's exciting to see that happen, how many, everything. Hope to see some good things from that, but it is growing. We started off with our fall concerts this year, basic stuff. All schools from 6th grade through the high school all had concerts. We all combine our middle schools together, or we combine freshman campus with one of the middle schools, and then 6th grade with one of the middle schools. So that way they can see each other. And because eventually they're going to come together, you know, at that freshman level and then come on up to the high school level. And then this at Christmas time, we also did the same thing, and they rotated, they flipped. So that way neither one of those were in the same, and they got to see each other, perform for each other, and see the levelings that we have. And then in the spring, we will actually do our MPA pre-festival concerts, where we're going to have our freshmen actually with the high school this time, and 6th grade Yucca and Gaddis are all going to be together on there, so they can see the contest prep that it takes to get to what level they're at. And so we're going to have a nice situation where we have those freshmen seeing the high school and seeing where they can come to with that concert aspect also. We had a wonderful semester where we had a lot of men's activities that we did, because we promote a lot for the men. We have a great men's program. Wonderful. We are on our 2nd annual Men's Day, our CMS Men's Day that we created last year. We had our second one. We had around 100 men that were involved in that from 6th grade through 12th grade that we came together at the high school. And we spend about half a day up there learning 2 pieces of music that we're going to actually perform at the All Choral Night concert. And so it's really nice to see those guys come together with all the different levels, their voices, and the different things that we have. Mr. James Golden is our new director at the freshman campus, who has been with us in the past. Excited to have him back. He is returning by way of Piedra Vista, who I have to say, I'm going to be honest, they were our nemesis last year at state. They beat us by 0.6, but guess who has him now? So hey, I'm just a little excited about that. But we are excited to have him. And with that, we actually had him do our clinic this year as a man in front of them, and getting to share with them some of his experiences. And it's really good to have him in front of them to recruit let them see him and know where he's at and that they get to come to him. He's a lot of fun, a wonderful musician. So we're excited about that. Our guys in the 9th through 12th grade actually even got to go down to Eastern and become a part of the men's festival there, got to perform a concert that afternoon after learning all the music in that day. So it was really a great experience for them at the collegiate level, seeing those college guys join in with them. So we're doing all level, 6th through 12th, all the way into college level, trying to get that experience for them. And it's actually really paying off. A lot of our seniors are headed towards the music field this year, and it's exciting to see that, whether they're band or choir. So really neat. We also had All-State Prep Day. The Eastern House, they house that for us. It's a huge amount of kids who are prepping for All-State process to work. And they actually give us some collegiate level thoughts of the music and how we're singing and prep us for the actual audition. So we did that this fall too. Our middle schools and 9th grade campuses went to District Honor Choir down in Artesia, learned the music prior, went down there, sang with the groups all day long with clinicians that they hired in. And then they performed a concert that evening, came back, 2 full bus loads. And so that was really neat for them. They love that trip. It's a lot of fun for them. Moving on to solo and ensemble this year, we're excited to give you some stats on that. So solo and ensemble, we had 9th grade through 12th grade are a part of this because it's a preparation for our all-state events, and we have to do a solo for all-state auditions. And so we always do that first, and then we move into our all-state process. Solos, first division solos. We had from the Freshman Academy, we had 6 soloists receive a first division. We had 31 high schoolers, the 10th through 12th grade receive first divisions. Out of the rest of the students that were left, we had second division solos. We had 6 from the freshman campus and we had 8 from the high school. And that is the exact total that we took. There was nothing else. So it was really wonderful. I'm not going to lie to you. 3s and 4s are given and 5s are given, but we do not receive those like that. So it was wonderful this year. We took 6 ensembles from our high school. These guys were part of the situation, and we split them up into 2 parts, 2 people per part. We had 6 ensembles that we took for our women's select and in this group. 3, actually all of them received first divisions, and 3 of them received outstanding ensemble for the day at the event. So they beat out the others that were performing that day too. We also had a special situation where we had 4 of our soloists from from the high school, excuse me, that received outstanding soloist out of all the soloists within those rooms that they went through. And it's a bunch of students going through from our district. We go all the way down to Carlsbad, Artesia, Hobbs, all of that is part of our district. And so all those students coming together, we had 4 soloists that were named outstanding. My fun part is this next part. All-State Choir. Clovis has been known to rank really high in the All-State process. This year, we had 5 freshmen that made All-State, which is very difficult to make because they're competing against 12th graders too within their area. We had 5 of them, and then we had 27 of our high school 10th through 12th grade that made it. If you are an All-Stater in this group, would you raise your hand?
Wow.
The nice thing about this, we are up from last year, but we are number 1 in the state. Yes, so you guys can brag about the students at our schools being number 1 in the state for All-State for our choir. We beat the closest person, who happened to be Portales. Our Southeast district is very good in music, huge musicianship down here in the Southeast corner. They came behind us by 6. So we beat them by 6 students. And then the next one was La Cueva. They were in 3rd place. So we are excited to say that we were number 1. We can claim number 1 on something. So we're excited about that. So as you can tell, I'm very proud of them. They worked super hard for that. So anyways, moving on with the rest of it, we had our Christmas concert season. You are the last of the concerts. This ends our Christmas season. We had, this group had 17 performances in the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
17, yes. We performed with the elementary choir tour. We did 7 performances in that. We've performed for the Rotary Club. We've performed for the retired educators banquet that they had, at a luncheon that they had. We were for the Rotary Club at the Civic Center, multiple different things. And then of course, last Thursday night was our big concert at the First Methodist Church. I want to thank Mr. Jay Brady for being there. I saw you, Mr. Brady. Thank you very much for attending. That was very nice of you. It's nice to see faces that you know and that they're supporting you. So thank you very much. And as far as the rest of the year goes, we're getting ready to start into MPA. And that is our music performance assessment, and then moving on into state competition. And so that kind of rounds up the year for you. So I just thought I would share that with you. And thank you very much for having us tonight and allowing us to share with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey. Thank you all. I'll give them a little time to dismiss. Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. The next thing we have is the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
No?
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
The motion by Mr. Martin and a second by Mr. Cordova, all in favor? Opposed? None. Motion carries. So next, we'll go to the superintendent report, Ms. Russ.
Okay, first up, we have Ms. Williams here with a canon update.
A lot taller. Good evening, President, Superintendent, board members. So I don't really have a whole lot. I just want to say thank you for everything. Let you guys know we're ready to start training test proctors. So you let me know when you guys want to plan some dates and we'll get that taken care of. And I just want to say, I hope you guys have a great holiday. The choir performance was amazing. You always make me follow something I can't live up to. So, but thank you guys for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have two of our students here, Miss McKenna Music and Avery Lynn. You'll come join us.
Good evening, Superintendent Russ and Board. Since we were last present in October, we've had a really busy 2 months. In October, we actually attended our first conference of the year, where we were able to participate in professional development. And we created a workshop also that we presented to other schools. And then later in that week, we also had a free out, which is an activity in the afternoon. And I think it really builds community within the student body. And we had a few food trucks show up and just games and a bunch of fun. That was really fun. And it was also followed by our 3rd annual A Wildcat Halloween. That was all on the same day. And that was super fun, but such an exhausting week. And then in November and December, we created a give back event to help to all those in the community. And this year we actually tried something new. We partnered with the volleyball team, which I'm also a part of. And we did 2 different events called Stuff the Stadium and then a Powder Puff volleyball tournament. And the Stuff the Stadium encouraged the public to bring new or gently used stuffed animals that we donated to children in need. And we collected over 130 stuffed animals to donate to the children at the Hartley House. And we also got several boxes of hygiene products that we both donate to the Hartley House. And then the Powder Puff volleyball, that was really fun to watch and super fun to do. And we're also hoping to host an alumni game in the future for volleyball and basketball. And then so far in December, we have baked and donated over 700 cookies to the Cannon Air Force Base cookie drive for the airmen in the dorms. And we have also made cards for homebound and elderly individuals serviced by Meals on Wheels to spread some joy for the holidays. So yeah, thank you for your support this year.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
You guys are
Yeah.
doing great work. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Pickett, if you'll come on up and you can re-recognize the choir, give your comments on the choir. We'll work our way.
President Osborne, members of the board, Superintendent Russ. Tonight we have choir with Miss Tammy Martin, which she's already spoke on almost everything, but she didn't speak about the choir wanting to take a trip to Dallas. So she'll come up and speak about that. And then we also have Mr. Daniel Perez with drum majors to speak about and share with the band's performances this year, the marching band, and what's coming up for the band. So Ms. Martin, can you come up?
Do we want to take these in order?
Yeah, we'll take it in order. Yes.
So if you want, we can move on to Mr. Pettis coming up. Yes. so that we can take our trip in the order that it's on the agenda.
Okay.
Good evening, Superintendent, members of the board. Nice to see you all.
Good to see you.
I'm going to give you guys kind of a little bit of a rundown, and then I have my drum majors here with me that are going to tell you kind of a little bit more about the season and all the things that we got to do. Before we get into that, I wanted to share on the band side, we also had students audition for all-state band this year. And it was kind of amidst the marching band chaos, so we didn't get to dedicate as much direct time to it. But all of that considered, we still had 19 members make the all-state band, as well as for the first time in a very long time, we also had 2 members make the all-state jazz band. So that's a big deal. A first and second chair in the state. So that's also a huge accomplishment there. We also recently hosted the Southeastern New Mexico Music Educators Association all district band auditions, where we host, Artesia, Hobbs, Lovington, Carlsbad, all of those folks, and we fill up 2 high school bands and 2 middle school bands with all district students. We in the high school realm, we have about 180 slots, 175 slots, and Clovis High School and Clovis Freshman Campus combined, we filled 90 of those slots.
Wow.
So we're sitting at right about 50% of the all district band is from Clovis. And then at the middle school level, we fill up another 2 bands as well. And I did the math there, and I think we're sitting at about 40%. About 60 middle schoolers made it from Yucca and Gaddis combined. So things are looking up. Kids are doing great. We have a lot of good directors in places, and I think we're well on our way to continuing that tradition of excellence that Clovis band has. So now I'm going to turn it over to my drum majors. These are my 4 drum majors. They were my leaders throughout the entire marching season. Anything I needed, they were my go-to people. Very reliable, very consistent. And I wanted to put them a little bit on the spot to see how they do. A little bit public speaking for y'all. So they're going to let you know kind of how our marching season went.
Good evening, Ms. Russ and board. I don't know why, but Mr. Perez told me to start this. So I'm really shaky right now. So if I stutter my words, I'm sorry. We first started off the season by going over to Portales to Eastern New Mexico University on October 1st to perform in the Green and Silver Classic. We received outstanding music achievement, outstanding visual achievement, outstanding general effect, outstanding best in class 5A, and best band overall. This competition is relatively small, involving schools in our district, and it was also the first competition for a lot of our new members, and that really showed them how fun marching band can be.
Hi, good evening. After the ENMU, after that competition that we did, the next one was called the Tumbleweed Classic, which is held in Denver City, Texas. We had a preliminary and a finals round. I'm so sorry.
Preliminary.
For the preliminary round, there were 25 bands there, all from Texas, including the Lubbock area and Odessa. We finished preliminaries and we were on to the finals round, which took the top 10 bands from the preliminary round. After that, we were awarded outstanding brass along with overall grand champion. And this was our first bigger competition that we had. We had the Green and Silver Classic before, but as Arcel said, it was in Portales. So it was just kind of dipping our toes into the marching season. So this was our first bigger competition where we got to see a lot of different bands from areas like Texas where we wouldn't very see so often, and the kids really got to experience what going to a bigger competition with 2 rounds would be like. And it was just a great experience, and it was kind of the start of going bigger into our marching season.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. On October 19th, we traveled to Albuquerque to attend the Zia Marching Fiesta in Albuquerque, held at the University of New Mexico. There we competed amongst 31 other bands in a preliminary and a finals round. At preliminaries, we were awarded outstanding music, outstanding visual, general effects, and overall class 5A champion. We then moved on to the finals round where they took 10 bands. We managed to bring home the outstanding music award, outstanding general effect, and overall grand champion award. And to us, Zia is super special because, as you guys know, it's super long. We have a super long history. We have 12 consecutive years, and this year it's always very important to us because we know that as you guys in the community love to see Clovis represented at such a high standard, and to us it's very important that we uphold that standard. So obviously winning another title for us was super exciting for us, and it was super good. But also with Zia, we faced a lot of uncertainties this year specifically because that morning we're packing up our stuff to leave. It was humid, it was cloudy, and it was raining on the way there. So we were super unsure, especially because if you ask them back there, in 2022, our finals run was canceled because of inclement weather. So the uncertainty of will it happen again was obviously really unnerving. But in the end, we were able to do our 2 runs and we were able to bring home grand champions. So that was very exciting for us.
Hello, board. I'm here to talk about the first annual state competition held by the NMAA board. It took place October 26th at Rio Rancho. 18 5A bands competed, but only 6 made it to finals, and we earned 4th place, with Oregon Mountain in 3rd, VCU Cleveland 2nd, and Rio Rancho taking 1st. We didn't realize it at the time, but that was our last competition because our trip to Utah got canceled. And so it was sort of a bittersweet ending to a amazing season. Even through all the negativity, I've heard name calling from other bands and everything, it taught us humility and good sportsmanship conduct. And marching band is not only a program driven by these competitions, but in the end, we also become a family. And this is my final year. I've tried 3 times for drum major and I finally made it. Yay. And I don't want to dwell on the what ifs, what could happen, or what would happen if Utah didn't canceled or if Zia got canceled. I want to know that this program continues to survive and that we can achieve greatness. I humbly ask you, board, to dwell, what if we had the funds people claim that we have? Because many people throughout the state think we are this massive program that continues to have amazing funds when if they just take a look inside, we really don't. Imagine how much more we can continue when finances are on the forefront of people's minds. This program strives to make a difference in kids' lives, and will you, board, help us do the same? Thank you.
So I'm gonna close up this part of the band. Like Haiti said, Zia was, state was our last band competition, and as one of the head drum majors, it really took a toll on me because I had my bags packed, I was ready to go, and then we got the message from Mr. Perez and I bawled my eyes out. But the directors have said that they want to do something special for us in the spring, and I am really looking forward to that. And as many of y'all know, we entered a transition year from going from Mr. Allred to Mr. Perez, and it's been the absolute best. Mr. Perez has always been there for the students. He's always asked for the feedback and what we can do better as a group. And I want to give my thanks to Mr. Perez for making my senior year one of the best years yet. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So,
Question.
yes.
And it's just, why did we go to a state, is that just something that you know, I know Zia, I mean, back when I was in school,
Mhm.
Zia was the, you
Yeah.
know, well, no, it was the main, you won Zia, that was
That
it.
was it.
There was no state competition,
Correct.
that was for band.
Yeah.
So why did they do a state competition?
So I think
now?
there were some conversations at the state level with some of the music education folk across the state. And I think the outcry was we wanted to be a part of the New Mexico Activities Association as much as like the concert season is. Because for both choir and band, there is a state sanctioned concert contest every year.
Okay.
Which we alluded to. And so I think it was more to bring that to the forefront and have like a legitimate state championship that would mirror any athletic event, anything like that, the whole blue trophy situation. Granted, it was the first year, so there were definitely some kinks and some I'll be honest with you, also my eyebrows were raised and there were some questions asked because when we go and beat everybody else less than a week before and then compete against the same folks a week later and the results are a little wonky, there were some question marks. But all that being said, we're gonna, return with a vengeance and make sure we take care of business this next year.
Well, I just want you to know, I know a lot of people in Albuquerque and, a lot of eyebrows were raised because of the outcome. I just thought maybe they got tired of clothes winning Zia. But now we will support you all the way. And I again apologize about the Utah trip. But first and foremost is the safety of all our kids.
Absolutely.
And I hope that we can assist in any way we can to make it up to your seniors.
Yep.
But it just, we have to make sure everybody's safe.
Yep.
But congratulations on your year. And you got a huge support staff here.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Mr. Perez and the other band directors are actually working on another trip for our band in the fall. So it's coming. It just takes time, and those kids are excited. But we talk about Rio Rancho. I was there. Mr. Frederick was there. We kind of played tag, whether he was there for the first performance. I was there for the second performance, and I'm just standing in the cold, and I know we're not gonna get whatever we place because but I'm thinking, okay, we don't get first, we're gonna get second, and I'm a basketball coach, and I know what happens when you go to Rio Rancho. Yeah. So that's the same thing that happened. It was in Rio Rancho, and Rio Rancho won. So it was funny because when we got, what did we get? Fourth. They cheered more for Clovis getting fourth than the first place band. So you knew that it was kind of have questions,
yeah.
But I think Mr. President will agree with that as well. So we'll take it, but we'll come back and do our thing next year.
I would just like to say that their true champion self shows in the way they manage that adversity. So congratulations.
Yes. You're number one as far as working.
As always.
Yeah, they know we're coming back next year.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I have Ms. Tammy Martin to speak on choir and their trip.
So you were given my information that I had attained. And this event that we're doing is actually one that we did last year, but we did a little bit something different in there. This year, we're going to compete at the American Classic. It's a Lone Star Classic Festival that is held in Irving. And the way we're going to kind of look at this trip is the first night we're going down, we are going to go to an opera. There's many times these kids will never experience something like this. And it is going to be in a foreign language, but it is based off of the Cinderella concept by Rossini, and it will be in Bass Hall that is down in Fort Worth area. And then we will the next day go to our competition at the Lone Star if we get to go. And then we will have the fun and go to Six Flags, come back and spend some time at the hotel together. And then the next day we would come back. So those are the actual activities besides eating and eating and eating as you feed
That's
teenagers all the time. But that is what our event is looking towards. And we hope that you guys approve of that. And if there's any questions that you might have of me.
Anybody have any questions?
I'd just like to, say thank you for finding like an opera. I mean, that would be awesome to see. These kids, and you're right, may never get to experience that.
It's true. It's
And
very true.
so, yeah, and then having a little bit of fun, but yeah, going and.
Yes. I know that as a musician, I am not an opera fan. I hate to say it that way, but it's true. I mean, we have our genres that we like, but to have the experience to go to one and say, I actually went to that. I actually saw something like that it is an experience that kids do not forget. And I'll be honest with you, it's amazing. They may not know everything that's going on, but I liked the fact that it was a Cinderella theme with Rossini, and it makes it aware to what's going on in the opera, even though they may not understand everything. And so I thought that was a really neat deal that, it's something that's familiar to them, but yet it's going to be in that foreign language. So it gives them that experience too. Because foreign countries, if you go over a foreign country, you have to survive it and find your way. So that's a neat experience. I think it's going to be very memorable in the future. Definitely.
I know.
A consideration item, so
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
motion by Mr. Hamilton, a second by Mr. Cordova, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Going on a trip?
Thank you
Good
very
luck.
much. They are going to be excited to hear this, and we are very grateful. Thank you for all your support.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good night.
Mr. Strickland, Employee Services.
President, members of the board, Superintendent Russ. I'm really, really proud of where we are. I have some really excellent news. I was looking through my sheet, and this is, of course, a moving target day by day, but we had a brief moment in time where we had 0 regular ed openings in secondary and elementary. We're still really low. I think we have 1 right now, which is a record. And if you'll notice, our SPED numbers are down to 19. Last week, I did get to sign off on several contracts to hire 11 SPED virtual teachers that will have an actual sub or EA in the room to manage the classroom. So that's going to bring that down to 8. And then we are in our final stage of our international student or our international teacher H-1B visa sponsorship. The attorneys finally, on both sides, finally agreed on a contract. And so I'm just waiting for that to get finalized. So that could potentially eliminate our SPED openings for the year. So
Awesome.
want to thank Mandy Carpenter and her team for their hard work. It's not just the recruiting and getting people here, but working on keeping them happy, and that retention is a gift that she has for the district. And so I want to thank her for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Financial matters. It's the end of.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Russ. Tonight, I bring 7 items for discussion. And the first item for discussion is the bond sale results. And I have Eric Harrigan with RBC Capital to share those results. Eric?
Yes, good evening, Madam President, members of the board. Eric Harrigan with RBC Capital Markets. I will share my screen. I will keep my comments short here. So in September, the board authorized the district to issue general obligation bonds approved by voters through the New Mexico Finance Authority. In October, the New Mexico Finance Authority approved the district's loan, and on November 2nd, or excuse me, 4th, we priced those bonds. The true interest cost on the $5 million of general obligation bonds was $3.224%. The bonds do have an optional redemption date of 10 years. So if interest rates at that time or lower, the district does have the option to refund at lower interest rates. The closing date, the bonds closed on the 22nd of November. And that's when funds became available for the district to expend on the various projects within the capital master plan. And with that, I'd be certainly happy to answer any questions.
No questions, I think. Thank you.
Eric, thank you so much.
Apologies, I didn't hear that my dogs were barking.
There were no questions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. The second item I have is the audit representation letter to Carr, Riggs and Ingram. This is a written record attesting to the accuracy and the completion or the completeness of the information that was provided to the auditors for their analysis. And I stand for any questions.
None for me.
Great self-explanatory. Thank you.
The third item that I have is the bond arbitrage review for the general obligation school bond series 2019. And this is just to ensure that we are not earning more interest on our bonds than what we pay in interest. The letter states that this bond did not incur any arbitrage rebate or yield restriction, through October 2nd of 2024, which means that we're in compliance. And I stand for any questions.
Thanks for keeping us in compliance.
The fourth item is the 2025-2026 membership projections report. This is based on the 40-day certified data. And these projections assist in determining the preliminary growth units and the new program units that they use on our 910B5 for our SEG funding. And I stand for any questions.
So we're holding steady with 200 less every year, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's the new norm.
Seems to be.
Seems to be in line with what the demographer
Yes.
shared with us in the spring when we went through the facility master planning.
Yeah.
And of course, this doesn't include our pre-K count. This is kinder through 12.
Well, yeah.
Yes, K through 12.
Okay.
No
No
more
other questions.
The fifth item is the National Board Certification Report. We currently have 4 teachers and 1 administrator who are certified by the National Board Professional Teaching Standards. And I stand for any questions.
That's about, is that more than what we've had in the past? About
No,
the same, huh?
The same,
Yeah.
yes. We had 5 last year and we have 5 this year.
Yeah.
The sixth item is the teacher cost index report, which is part of the funding formula that is intended to generate additional funding to offset the higher cost of our more experienced and highly licensed teachers. Last year's TCI was 1.012, and this year it is 1.016. And I stand for any questions.
Pretty self-explanatory.
And the final item that I have is our first quarter cash report, which reflects the ending cash balance as of our June 30th, 2024, plus the revenue that we received, minus the expenses that we paid to get our ending cash balance as of November 30th, 2024 for all of our funds. And I stand for any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
No, any question.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Mr. Brady, operational matters.
You hanging in there?
I am.
Yeah, stuffed up.
All right. Good evening, President Osborne, members of the board, Superintendent Russ. Exciting times for us with Clovis Schools. As you know, we approved a facility master plan last year, and based on the analysis of the district and its space, it was recommended that we downsize. Part of the downsizing process is to look at available properties. And we've considered pushing those forward for sale. One of the things that we're required to do is to have an approved resolution for each one of the properties that we intend to sell. In that resolution, for each one of these three primary parts, the intent to sell, authorizing the superintendent to conduct the business of the sale, as well as a condition based on the approval of the State Board of Finance. So first step is for us to pass the resolution, and then we'll work actively to get on the agenda for the State Board of Finance meeting in January, February. And then based on that, we'll move on with the process of the sale. I'd like to present A, B, and C to you holistically, but each one of these are consideration items and need to be considered individually. And I stand for any questions.
I saw in the news that Amarillo closed 3 schools, so I think it's a thing that's.
It is a trend
happening
nationally.
everywhere. Yeah.
Albuquerque closed one, I believe.
What?
I don't know.
And they are retasking many of their school sites for alternative use.
Do you want us to do those 3 now? And
Yes.
I think we'll do roll call, Ms. Gina. So the first one is to consider resolution for sale of land for Rain Tree. Can I have a motion in a second?
I move.
A second.
We have a motion by Mr. Martin, a second by Mr. Cordova. Roll call, please.
President Osborne,
Yes.
Secretary Cordova,
Yes.
Member Hamilton,
Yes.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. B is consider a resolution of sale and land delegation of authority for Parkview property.
I'll make a motion.
A motion from Mr. Hamilton, second from Mr. Martin. Can we get a roll call, please?
President Osborne,
Yes.
Secretary Cordova,
Yes.
Member Hamilton,
Yes.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Motion carries. The third one is the resolution for Student Support Center.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Cordova, second by Mr. Hamilton. Roll call, please.
President Osborne,
Yes.
Secretary Cordova,
Yes.
Member Hamilton,
Yes.
Member Martin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And items D, E, and F, upon the approval of the State Board of Finance, your vote would authorize to go to sealed bids in accordance with the sale of each one of those properties. And again, these are each consideration items for the board.
Do we post that lots of places?
Yes, we have one of the items that we have to do is we have to advertise that. And so there's a packet that's prepared for the State Board of Finance, and one of that is the advertisement that we'll post.
Any questions?
No questions.
Okay, Mr. Brady needs us to take these separately. So the very first one will be the receipt of sealed bids for Rain Tree.
So move. Second.
Motion by Mr. Martin, a second by Mr. Hamilton. Roll call, please.
President Osborne,
Yes.
Secretary Cordova,
Yes.
Member Hamilton,
Yes.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Motion carried. Item E is consider receipt of sealed bids for Parkview property.
So move. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Martin, a second by Mr. Hamilton. Roll
Pres-
call, please. Sorry.
Sorry. President Osborne,
Yes.
Secretary Cordova,
Yes.
Member Hamilton,
Yes.
Member Martin.
Yes.
And finally, consider receipt of sealed bids for SSC property.
So move. I'll second it again.
Okay, Mr. Martin made a motion and Mr. Hamilton seconded. Roll call, please.
President Osborne,
Yes.
Secretary Cordova,
Yes.
Member Hamilton,
Yes.
Member Martin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go, you're welcome. The next item on our agenda is open forum. I understand we have one speaker.
Yes. So, Charles Otero, speaking on school safety.
Good evening, President. Older I get, might go down. Anyway, board members and Superintendent Russ, thank you very much. I have a lot to say, but 3 minutes, so I'll try to get this quickly done. I actually had some other issues to speak to. One of those were the questions that I left you. and I'm gonna run.
Please address the topic that you listed on your card.
I asked a question, so that topic is good. I asked the clerk, is there a specific policy? And I believe they all do have to do with safety. So I would greatly appreciate it if the board would do that, because it seems like you're creating things in the way that shouldn't be there. But one person came to me today, unannounced, unapproached, undesired, not from my church, a mother who has two children in the school system, and she was very concerned. She said in her family, because it was a Latino culture, there was no trouble, but he was very concerned that a teacher of music was telling a person who was not comfortable in her body that she or he should change it. Now I don't have the information, but it's very concerning as a medical provider. If somebody not trained in gender affirming care is doing that, that opens up that person and this board to safety concerns for practicing medicine without a license. So in the amount of time I have, and with some of the problem with saying agenda has to only be in safety, safety is wide. And if parents can't understand from this board, such as was evidenced tonight, that we can ask questions openly and not be fearful, that's a concern. One of the questions was that I had up that I asked you guys was, did you, and I'd love to hear the topics, did you hear at the training and did you agree that once a student gets into the school, they have no longer have just constitutional rights? Normally, I think we should tell a parent, your child is having some issues so they can get the proper care. I'm very concerned for our culture, and I greatly appreciate it that you allow me to talk. But I don't think people should be afraid to come or not know how to speak. So if there's specifics, President and Board, I'd like to know that because I didn't read it. Thank you very much and Merry Christmas. Have a good New Year.
Announcements, Ms. Russ?
Mr. Borio was gonna time me out.
Oh, gonna time you out.
This week, we're hosting our holiday basketball tournament, December 19th through 21st. I hear we've got a lot of great teams playing, so that'd be good action to go take part in. Our winter holiday district offices will be closed December 23rd through January 2nd. Students and campus staff will not return until January 7th. It's a Monday. Campus staff, I guess I said that incorrectly, return on January 6th. So kids are out through the 7th, so they come back on the 8th. It's kind of confusing. January 20th, we will have a holiday for campuses, but district offices will be open for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And then we'll be back here on January 28th for our next regular Board of Education meeting at 5:30 p.m. And that's all that I have for you.
Before we adjourn, just, to make sure that we continue to be a professional board, I just want to remind you that board meeting attendees, the reason we're asking you to refrain from approaching the board table at the conclusion of the meeting is because engaging in discussions with us outside a meeting and without an agenda inadvertently leads to a quorum of us discussing school business outside a meeting that has been provided notice and is a violation of New Mexico Meetings Act. We appreciate your understanding and cooperation in helping us to maintain transparency and to adhere to state regulations. If you have questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to board members individually. Having said that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Cordova and a second by Mr. Hamilton. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.